Yes, another day, another dollar, another article about the Eagles, another story about the end of the 23-24 season is on ESPN. The article by Tim McManus. What an article it was. I can't tell you that I was, let's put it like this. When you read the article, I'll pin it in the description below. I'll give you a link to it. Tell me in that article what you read that took you totally by surprise. Was there any bombshell, big takeaway from that article that you read as an Eagles fan? Anything. Was there any bombshell news? Was there any earth-shattering quote or comment that described last season? ESPN, the past couple of articles they wrote about the Philadelphia Eagles have really tried to give an answer to what was a terrible end to a really, really rough season last year for the Philadelphia Eagles. And they've been trying to figure out why. Why exactly did it end the way it did? But every Eagle fan knows. Every Eagle fan understands this already. And quite frankly, most of us has moved on from it. Maybe to a degree, I haven't necessarily moved on from it because I literally made an episode about Howie Roseman's answers to fix those problems in the offseason. It's a lengthy episode, but I'll put it in the cards up here. You can go take a look at it if you like. But there's nothing in that article that I read that took me by surprise other than one thing. Other than the fact that Jalen Hurts called up Wink Martindale after his Week 18 loss to the New York Giants to figure out what exactly Wink Martindale did to attack the Eagles' front and to attack the Eagles' offense. That was a pretty cool takeaway. Now, does it necessarily matter now? Not really. And even Jalen Hurts mentioned, what's the relevance of it now? It doesn't mean anything. Like, what good does it do to have that information now and wrote on an article and put out to the public? It doesn't do anything for you. And he's right. Really is no relevancy or no, I guess, substance to what that article tells you about Philadelphia. We already know that the offense last season was mundane. It was archaic. It was a putrid offense. We knew it didn't lack any motion. We knew it had no answers to the blitz. We knew that their answers to the blitz were vertical routes down the field. We knew that they didn't attack the middle of the field. We knew they didn't run the ball enough. There's nothing in that article that was put out there that McManus and ESPN reporters put in the article that was insightful that we didn't already know. It's why we brought in a guy like Kellen Moore. It's why the organization asked Nick Sirianni to stay out of the offensive game plan, let the offensive coaches do their thing. We already knew the relationship between Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni at that point wasn't great. And I can't say that it's perfect now, but if there is any sort of substance to that, which I believe there is relatively, I don't believe this is going to work out long term. And I have an episode about that as well. I don't believe that the Sirianni-Hurts relationship is going to work out long-term, especially if we're going to keep cycling through offensive coordinators year after year after year. Because we all know what it looks like when Nick Sirianni calls the offense. He's 13-11 as the primary play caller, essentially. And last season, we already know Nick Sirianni had his hand on the joystick. It wasn't even Brian Johnson's fault. He would override the play calling and he would override the decision making for Brian Johnson and thus a very mundane, archaic offense. But that's neither here nor there. The point of the article was that there's nothing new. There is nothing new out of this ESPN article that we didn't already know. But, the article did enlighten something about Jalen Hurts, okay? It's something that Eagle fans already knew about him, and people who believe in the Eagles already know about Jalen Hurts. But for anybody out there who doubts this man as a quarterback in the NFL, who doubts the fact that this guy has been and can still be an elite quarterback in the NFL, this article had to have put a crack in the armor of he can't throw. He's not an elite passer. He's not an elite quarterback. He's not a top guy in the NFC. This article, the part where he goes to Wink Martindale and talks to him about how he attacked the defense, what can he do to get better? Any little tidbit that you can get to get better as a quarterback and recognizing coverages, recognizing defense, recognizing fronts, and being able to attack the opposing defense, that's a feather in your cap. Any slight edge to get better is a feather in your cap. Wink Martindale in the article quotes saying, I've done this for 40 years. Never have I had a quarterback call me, an opposing quarterback call me and ask me, what can I do to attack your defense better? I paraphrased his quote, but you get the point. And now, this is going to be the move that all other teams are going to do on the Black Monday hirings at the end of seasons when teams get rid of their coaches. Other opposing quarterbacks are now going to call defensive coordinators and other coaches and talk to them about how they can improve their season, how they can improve their recognition of coverage. They're going to call coordinators they had trouble with and ask them like, hey, what did you do to confuse me? Help me get better. All this proves to me with Jalen Hurts, and all it should prove to anybody who doubts Jalen Hurts, is that the man will do anything and everything to achieve greatness. And that he does have the stuff to be able to last in the NFL, to be able to last and play quarterback for 10 plus years, and to be a guy that you can count on to be the face of your franchise and move forward with for the next decade and a half. He is that guy. There is nothing of this. There is no question of his leadership now. There is no question of whether or not he has the mental capacity to be able to understand coverage. There is no doubt in my mind now that he is not capable of being the face of your franchise. And again, Eagle fans already know this. Anyone who believes in the Eagles already know this. It's for all of the people out there who believe Jalen Hurts can't hold a candle to anybody, who believe that he's not even a top 5 quarterback in the NFC, who believe that this year the Philadelphia Eagles are not going to be a 10-win team. For those of you who believe that, hey, Jalen Hurts is not going to be able to recognize coverage, he can't diagnose a defense, when literally 2 years ago on the Shane Steichen, he was one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz. And now this past season, he had one of the worst ratings against the blitz. Yes. But is that not part of play calling? Is that not part of coaching? And I'm sure the coaching is going to be better, and he's going to be better. So why not believe in the guy that is putting in the effort to get better? Why not believe in the guy that 2 years ago was in the Super Bowl and played the game of his life? Why not believe in a guy, for those of you who believe the Eagles were overrated and were shit last year, he was 10-1 with this same team, with an archaic offense, with a mundane offense, with lack of motion, lack of running game, a complete and utter abomination on the offensive side of the ball. He was able to lead the team to 11 wins. And he played like shit, by the way, and I called him out on it. And he played like dog shit in the playoffs. Yes, no doubt about it. But again, it shows that he is willing to do anything to get better. The work ethic, the mental capacity, the drive, the willingness. Everything you need to know about Jalen Hurts has been answered now. There's no doubt that this guy is going to be the franchise. So all the articles in Philadelphia media that talk about how, they're going to do the Carson Wentz treatment on Jalen Hurts. Oh, they brought in Kenny Pickett. What are they going to do with Kenny Pickett? They really, really like this guy. Are they ousting Jalen Hurts? There's something up with the leadership with Jalen Hurts. The locker room was fractured because of his relationship with people. Yada, yada, yada. Oh, give me that bull crap and shove it up your ass, okay? There's nothing wrong with Jalen Hurts. in terms of being able to be the leader of your franchise, the face of your franchise. Everybody in that locker room believes in him. Everyone in the locker room this season seems to have buy-in. And now I do have questions about the defense and whether or not they have enough guys and enough bodies to be able to actually play respectable defense. But one thing's for sure, there is buy-in. There is buy-in on both sides of the ball. And in football, if you have belief in your coaches and belief in the fact that you guys as a unit are together and believe in one another, you can win a lot of games and be problematic for the opposition. And despite the talent differential and despite the drop in talent that it was from the past couple of seasons, the buy-in is important. The veteran coaching is important. And the belief in your quarterback and the quarterback's willingness to do anything to get better is what is going to make your season successful. So this ESPN article that people are getting all raved up about, and I know I just made it, I know it's ironic that I'm saying that this article is BS and I made a whole damn episode about it. But the fact of the matter is that this article has shown nothing new that Philadelphia Eagle fans didn't already know. There is no tension in the locker room. We already understand the dynamic of what's going on in Philadelphia, and everyone seems to be lockstep in terms of the Philadelphia Eagles locker room and the fan base going forward. Attack the 24th season, see where the chips fall. That seems to be the mantra. That seems to be the goal. And you know what? I get it. I am somebody who is concerned about the future down the road. But at least in this moment right now, I can appreciate the fact that they are lockstep and locked in on what they can control this upcoming season. So ESPN, this article, for the final words of this episode, to describe it in maybe one or two words, this article, all bullshit. Hey, thank you so much for watching the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. If you want to continue to support the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Riding the Bench Eagles Pod. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're on there. Thank you so much for listening, and please join us next time here at the Riding the Bench Eagles Podcast.